So, Chris, my producer Tim is wearing his Chris Jericho shirt today. He's a huge fan. I'm wearing my New York Islanders jersey because I grew up like you on Long Island, except I grew up an Islanders fan. Your dad played for the New York Rangers, so I guess you were kind of born into that rivalry.
And it's funny because I'm wearing my Adam Webster shirt, so it worked out perfect. But yeah, my dad played for the Rangers for years, and for the Blues and for the Kings, so definitely have that lineage in my life.
Now, you've done good guy, you've done heel in wrestling, you've been both. Talk about both sides of being a good guy and being a heel when you walk into a wrestling ring.
Well, the crux of this book, The Best in the World at What I Have No Idea, is in 2008 I was getting really stagnant as a performer in the WWE. I'd just come back, and I decided to kind of give myself a whole overhaul and dropped into this really, it was kind of a heel persona based on the movie No Country for Old Men and the character Anton Chigurh, like this really super evil, very balanced and very matter-of-fact and very calm. And I created this character that became the most hated character in the wrestling business for a couple years. And I'm not just saying, oh yeah, we hate this guy, like people legitimately wanting to cause me bodily harm, attacking me on the streets, throwing things at me. I got hit with a D battery in San Francisco once. A D battery. Who brings a D battery to a wrestling show? You know, did they bring a boombox with them or a Teddy Ruxpin doll? How do you even get a D battery in there? But this is the type of bodily harm that people wanted to cause me, because even though they knew wrestling was quote-unquote a show, they believed that my character was real, and what I was doing was different from everybody else. And that was kind of I took great pride in that. It was kind of like my Oscar award. My standing ovation was getting booed and getting attacked on the streets, becoming the public enemy number one, especially to Nancy Grace when she got some a video of me getting in fights with fans. Self-defense, of course. But, you know, that sort of thing, it's a lost art of becoming a really hated bad guy because people know that it's a show. But in this case of what I was doing, I made it so real that they thought, okay, this is a show, but that guy's real. We don't like him.
Speaking with Chris Jericho, your third book was just released, the memoir, The Best in the World. What a nice, humble title, Chris.
Well, you got to say the other half of it. The best in the world at what I have no idea. There you go. Now it makes sense.
The first book was an autobiography. It became a New York Times bestseller, had a great title. I love that one, A Lion's Tale Around the World in Spandex. You're not new to the writing thing.
Well, it's the third in kind of a trilogy of autobiographies. When my second book did really well and I was offered a chance to write a third book, I thought, is that really necessary? Like, is it a little bit overkill to have 3 autobiographies by the time I'm in my early 40s? I mean, Ernest Hemingway has one. But then I realized Ernest Hemingway is boring compared to me. I have a really interesting life with all the things I've done between wrestling and singing in Fozzy and doing Dance with the Stars and, you know, going to Iraq 3 times and all the other things that I've done in between. It lends itself to a lot of fun, ridiculous stories. And you can never take yourself too seriously when you're doing all these things, because basically I'm just living out the dreams that I had when I'm a kid. So I never really grew up, and I get to write about it. So it's another, if you like the first 2 books, you'll like this book, and it really is like the return of the Jedi in my Chris Jericho Star Wars trilogy.
Who are the guys that inspired you into the wrestling business? You and I are about the same age.
Well, I grew up in Winnipeg. There was a company called the AWA, and I was a big Hogan fan from the start. But then, as I started getting older, I liked the smaller guys that can move quicker, like Randy Savage and Owen Hart and Ricky Steamboat, Shawn Michaels, guys like that. Those guys had great connections with the fans, but they could move and they could fly, you know, high flyers, and they're great wrestlers. And those are the guys that I kind of gravitated towards, which is funny because there's stories about all of them in Best in the World at What I Have No Idea, especially Ricky Steamboat. I helped him come out of retirement and ended up working against him at a WrestleMania, which was really cool, and then had one of the greatest feuds of all time against Shawn Michaels. So it was a great experience to kind of go full circle. These guys are my heroes. They're my inspirations. They're my mentors. They're my peers. They're my friends, and then they're actually my co-workers.
Chris Jericho's third book on store shelves now, The Best in the World of What I Have No Idea. And you've watched these guys growing up, and now you're working with their kids.
In some cases, yeah. I mean, Kurt Henning's son I've worked with, and David Boy Smith's son, Dusty Rhodes' son. There's a lot of second and third generation guys in the business. So I'm kind of in the middle. I don't feel old. I don't feel young. I'm just kind of in lukewarm age purgatory right now.
All right, Tim, the producer, since you wore the shirt, I'll let you ask one question. Go ahead.
Chris, I was just wondering, the WWE Network, it's great for fans. How do you guys feel like when you come back? Does that affect you at all financially? Is that a good thing for you guys still, or is that hurting you guys at all?
It doesn't hurt me because I come and go. So whenever I come and go, I have a certain deal. I mean, I think it's a great idea for the fans, and I could never get it because it's too much pressure of knowing there's that much at my fingertips. It's like playing video games. I can't play video games. I can't get the WWE Network because I'll just spend all my time watching it. So it's a forbidden fruit that I'll never be able to enjoy because it's too much. I would never be able to tear myself away. So tell me how good it is and how much you like it because I'll never know.
Chris Jericho, thanks for this, man.
All right, man. Thanks, guys.